This is just after his article is published. They're in the meeting room celebrating, and Mari has offered him an extra copy of the magazine his article is in for him to give to anyone special. No, I'm good, really. Ultimately, I settle for the safest choice. It doesn't matter if the choice is right or wrong, but nothing will be destroyed this way. My relationship with her won't undergo a dramatic improvement, but it won't end here either.
Come on! You must have someone you wish to share this joy with, right?
No, not really. I'm just a part-timer anyway, and it's not something all that amazing. He says it's not all that amazing, Ma-chan. I can start bullying the part-timer tomorrow, right? I've never been more insulted in my life, you know?
Kitahara?
Anyway, can I start eating? It's a celebration after all.
Yeah, please do.
But these are Onagai Senbei rice crackers and Cheetos. All of them are value packs too.
So uncute? What are you talking about? See, there's chocolate too, right there.
Alphabet chocolates. This is a value pack too.
Cute? It was a bargain, so...
It's been quite a while since the last time we were able to go home before midnight, huh?
I suppose.
When we looked around the office around 10 o'clock, everyone apart from the two of us had already left before we knew it. Miraculously, Mari-san also didn't have any urgent work either. So, the two of us left the editing department before 11 o'clock. Still, Mari-san's mood doesn't suggest that she'd like to invite me to have a drink or go somewhere with her. What am I saying? There's no way Mari-san would make such an invitation in the first place if it's going to be just the two of us.
Hey, Kirahara?
There's just no way she'd make such an invitation.
Do you really not have anyone you'd like to share your joy with?
And indeed, she doesn't. But this solves the mystery. This explains the reason why Mari-san doesn't seem like she'd be up for a drink, and why her mood seems so downcast. You're still worrying about that?
Anyone would normally.
No, you should have let it slide by now. She's referring to something that I'd slipped out almost 7 hours ago. The monologue I had during the celebration, which had been slightly insensitive and a little difficult to take in.
How about your parents? They're paying for your university tuition, right, Kitahara?
My mother lives nearby, but no, besides paying for the tuition,
How about your friends? You're still in touch with your friends from high school, right?
Don't worry, we're still in touch. I don't have as few friends as others seem to think. And really, this person, the way she cares about others makes her seem like a Yakuza boss caring about her subordinates. It makes me extremely shameful, but it's not like I can find myself making any excuses either. How should I put this? It's a little hard to explain. It'd be nice if it were just a regular article. It could have been gossip from the entertainment industry, a collection of scary prophecies, or even information about Anjuku's red light district. Takia would definitely point his finger at me and laugh, and Io would laugh along for a bit as well before patting my shoulder to show her sympathy. And as for Setsuna, she'd buy a copy of such a lowbrow magazine with her own money regardless, and hold it lightly to her chest. I think. How do I say this? The problem I have isn't really about the relationships I have with my family or my friends, but rather what would come after if I were to share this with them. However, this article is talking about Toma Kazusa, the emerging star in the Japanese world of piano, which changes things up quite a bit. Takia would probably fall silent, feeling bothered by the whole situation, while Io would probably get extremely angry and leave without saying a word. And as for Setsuna, well, the thing is, it's about the person who the article's about.
I got it. That's enough.
It took me a while, but the moment I finally decided to tell her, it seems like Mari-san saw this coming from a mile away, and she takes a step back to distance herself from me. Hey, please, wait up for a minute. Moreover, she seems to be quite hurt. As if I'd accidentally said something to offend her, such that I can't bear to leave her while she's wearing the expression she currently has. Hey, Mari-san, hey! I hurry and chase after Mari-san as she walks away very quickly. Although, even if I do catch up with her, I don't know what I could do to stop her. That's why I keep a little distance. I could reach her shoulder if I stretched out my hand, but I just kept walking after her long, swaying hair. Wait, huh? Then she quickly changes direction and walks into a building that still has the lights on. And I'd note that the stores around these parts seem to close quite late. Thank you very much!
How's that? I bought one.
Then, a few minutes later, she walks out of the bookstore with a paper bag in hand and takes the new issue of Ensemble out of it, proudly flaunting it in front of her chest.
There were only 2 copies left. That was close. As I thought, it's selling quite well.
Mari-san?
Huh?
What's the meaning of this?
It's mine. A collector's copy. To preserve forever. You're such a liar, Kirahara. Isn't there someone who can share this happiness with you?
At first, I couldn't understand what Mari-san was trying to say at all.
This is my subordinate's first great success. Is it wrong for me to feel happy?
Even so, you didn't have to buy it. There are still leftover samples.
This is worth spending money on to me, okay?
No. No matter how many times I try to think it through, there are still some things about her that I don't really understand.
No matter the reason, I won't stand for my cute little subordinate's first work not being acknowledged. How could I ever stand for that?
Come on, I'm not a spoiled child.
And how can you be so calm about it?
Still, including situations like these, Mari-san's logic is incredibly forceful and senseless, but very convincing.
Kirahara, you did a great job. It's on par with the first article I wrote. Well, mine was just slightly better.
Thank you very much. Even if it means I'm being tricked by her, I allow myself to be moved by her words.
But you've worked so hard on this. What do you mean no one could be happy about it? How can you say something so sad?
The reason why I hesitated isn't as simple as Mari-san assumes it is. Still, regardless of what she knows about my circumstances or not, Mari-san is getting really mad about the pitiable state she's convinced I'm in.
Got anything to say? Well, why are you laughing? I'm really mad at you here.
As we keep talking, I notice that I'm feeling strange. I just started laughing at myself after realizing how lame I must look to others. And I can't stop myself.
Hey, Kitahara?
Mari-san, you're actually quite passionate, aren't you? The way you let things slip out like that might be your only fault.
You're the one who's acting cynical all the time. Do you think you're cool acting like that?
No, you're the cool one here. And I really like that part of you, Mari-san. You? She's truly a cool person. Mari-san is the second woman who's ever made me think this way. It's different from the composed, sharp way that I once saw in the first. However. I'm not sure how to put it. I guess she's hot-blooded and strong-willed. She has an aura of old-fashioned coolness that carries with it a strange sense of passion. But when I put it that way, is it just me, or does it feel like I'm not praising a woman at all? Once again, thank you very much. You always find a way to cheer me up.
I'm glad you understand. Still, keep in mind that you shouldn't be teasing your supervisor like that.
Understood. I'm sorry. I'll be careful from now on.
All right then. In that case, I'll forget the shame you brought upon me today.
I don't recall doing something that terrible, though.
Well, go home now, Kitahara.
Excuse me. Just give me a moment.
What's the matter?
I'll go pick it up. The very last copy, I mean. Thanks to you, Mari-san. I think I have a person in mind now. A person who might want to share this happiness with me. Mari-san has taught me this, after all. In the end, I can only go on the offensive. If I don't face it head on, nothing will change.
What the? So, he does have a girlfriend after all?
Huh?
Making a fool out of me like this?
It was released today. I bought a copy as a souvenir. Everyone from the editing department went out of their way to congratulate me. We had some snacks and drinks in the meeting room. A modest party to celebrate a meager accomplishment. I'm sorry for not telling you about the title of the magazine and its release date. I didn't want you to get the magazine before I did, Setsuna. I wanted to give it to you myself. Well, that's about it. It's my first published article, so I hope you'll take it. It'll only take about 5 minutes of your time. Are you free tomorrow? I can stop by your house to pass it on to you. I'll be waiting for your reply. Perhaps I'm getting carried away. No, I most certainly am, actually. Perhaps I really do want to brag about this to someone. Or perhaps just this once. I want to share this happiness with her. No, I've always wanted to share my happiness with her. I really want to hear her voice instead of just reading her texts. I want to see her smile for myself. It's just that I've been stubborn and incapable of honestly expressing such desires on my own. Perhaps my article will hurt Setsuna. Perhaps it will bring her pain all over again. But right now, I want her to hear my feelings, including all of that. That's why I want to give her this magazine. I want to talk to her. I want to see her. In the end, though, I'm still as incapable of conclusively expressing my sincerity to her as I've ever been, even after 3 years. Although I don't know which meddlesome god was the one that lectured me not to stop halfway and keep going.
I'm sorry. I can't make it tomorrow. I've made plans to go out with my family already.
But this situation, just as I hoped, though irresolute as I may be, just cut off all my escape routes.
Would it be okay if we met on the 24th?
Okay, and this is finally after the disaster of a date on Christmas. After everything goes sideways. As I open the door to the editing department, like I always do, I gain a brief, ominous premonition from the unusual silence of the office. Maybe there's nobody here. Or maybe there are people that I don't know all that well. Even now, I'm still a slave to the grip of anxiety. But...
Kitahara?
Mari-san, it seems that I managed to luck out at the very last moment, somehow.
What's wrong? Why have you come all the way here this late at night, today of all days? And not to mention, in this weather?
It's exactly because of this weather that I was able to make it here at this hour. The trains are late because of the snow, so they're still running right now.
You haven't answered the part about today of all days yet.
Is there nobody else around? Is it just you, Mari-san?
Suzuki's on paid vacation. Matsuoka and Kiziaki both dashed out of here right after their shifts ended. Hamada said he wanted to spend some time with his family today, so he left at 8.
What about the people in the other departments? The design department, photography department, and even the managing editors and chief editor aren't present today. It's Christmas? Well, the chief's involved in a whole bunch of magazines, so he's pretty much never around anyway.
The photography department seems to be having a pretty big year-end party, though I imagine that going out drinking on a day like this is actually nothing but trouble, right?
Then, Mari-san?
If you're going to start making more sarcastic remarks, I do plan on retaliating with some of my own.
Staying behind this late must have been tough on you. It's a big help that you were able to stay back.
An acceptable answer, then. And just for the record, it's not like I wasn't invited, you know. It just didn't sound as alluring as working was.
She played along with my obvious attempt at changing the subject just fine, without questioning that flawed part of my personality at all. I'm so glad that she's here right now. I'm so glad she's here right now. And the fact that she's the only one here.
By the way, Kitahara, what do you plan to do with that?
Mari-san casts her eyes towards the red and white box that I'm holding with my right hand. An obvious color scheme considering today's date. A little present that's meant for this day, and this day only. What should I do? I only bought this because I thought there'd be at least 4 or 5 people left.
True. There's no way the two of us would be able to finish off an entire Christmas cake by ourselves. Who would buy something that spoils so quickly on a weekend?
I got it at the open 24-hour supermarket around here for 1,000 yen.
Ah, I saw those on sale too. It was still 2,000 yen around noon.
They've been quick with the price cuts lately, even though tomorrow is the 25th, which is Christmas Day. Today's already that day, isn't it? Is it just not worth eating unless it's Christmas Eve? Or perhaps it's only the fact that its expiration date just passed. Mari-san?
Are you being sarcastic?
What do you mean?
What with something about being worthless after 24, past the expiration date?
Now that I think about it, a certain someone here is past 25 already.
You're still trapped by such an old and outdated sense of value, I see. I'm so disappointed.
But you're the one who brought up the expiration date thing.
When you pity or make fun of someone's self-deprecation, it hurts more than it usually does, you know? You don't understand how women feel at all.
Mari-san, are you seriously worried about that?
Well, I was just making a joke. I'm not interested in men or marriage anyway.
Aren't those supposed to be developed at the same time? Both love and work, I mean?
That only applies to young people, such as yourself.
So, Mari-san, you're aware that you're not young anymore?
Kitahara, you want to watch what you're saying? When did you start speaking to me so disrespectfully like this?
It's because it's you that I can drop formalities, Mari-san. I neither feel the reason nor the need to be worried.
At least your lip service sounds like a guy with experience working in the media.
Thank you very much.
I didn't mean that in a good way.
I know.
I'll cut the cake, so go buy some coffee. Black for me.
All right. I'm certainly aware of it. Whenever I talk to Mari-san, I always use some sort of lip service with her. And oftentimes, I'd even go as far as to annoy her a little with it. So, I'm truly grateful to God that Mari-san was able to be here right now. Unquestionably, I'm forcing myself to appear bright and cheerful right now. But the fact I'm alone with Mari-san means that I can actually reduce the degree of which I'm forcing my facade right now, even if a little. And even if a little, I'm actually starting to cheer up. I'll be able to mix in 1% of my real feelings amidst 99% of my acting. Sorry for the What are you doing, if I might ask?
I just thought the decorations were a little too plain, that's all. It's not every day you get to have a Christmas cake after all.
Atop the paper plates we always kept a pack of around here were 2 less than perfectly cut and somewhat unequal slices of cake.
Normally, there'd at least be a Santa-shaped candle or something, and a little message card made with chocolate, and snow made from sugar candy, and...
Since the cake was apparently too plain, Mari-san started enthusiastically decorating it in her vision.
I crushed some of Suzuki's cookies to make the snow. through on a business card for the message card. And as for the Santa-shaped candle, here.
Mari-san?
What do you think, Kirahara? Now it looked more like it, huh?
There should be a limit to how bad one's tastes can be, just as always.
I figured you say that. You always jump on any chance to laugh at my tastes.
Blowing away both the crushed cookie bits and business card is a Santa Claus of Mari-san's own design. That was, of course, referring to the tasteless foreign key change that perfectly represents her tastes.
Doesn't it look good? It's my favorite one right now. I got it from a friend that was sent to Africa. Said I'd absolutely love it.
Attached to the keychain appears to be some sort of dirty-looking doll made from cloth wrapped around some straw. That's also what I've come to expect from Mari-san, though, and thus a twisted, distasteful grin emerges on my lips.
Putting it on the cake probably isn't a good idea, so I'll just leave it here. All right, Kirahara, shall we have a toast? Kirahara?
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for the present. I was delighted, really. I was delighted, really. Well then, let's eat. It sure is delicious.
Unable to keep up my normal, regular expression, I'm finally forced to turn my back towards Mari-san as my entire body starts to tremble. It's just the two of us, so if I just blatantly turned around like this, there's no way that she wouldn't notice the state I'm in right now.
This buttercream is so heavy. It's also way too sweet. I can see why they lowered the price. There's no way they'd be able to sell it all.
Even so, Mari-san doesn't confront me about it, and is simply wolfing down the cake while frankly voicing her opinions on it. Awful, isn't it? And so I, with my back still turned, partake in some of the cake as well, nearly choking on the overly sweet and heavy cream she spoke of.
Well, it's about what I would expect from one of your presents. You might be serious and diligent guy, but your tastes are pretty horrible.
It's all thanks to the training I received from a certain supervisor of mine.
If nothing else, you've certainly mastered the art of talking back. Never mind, though. I was feeling a little hungry anyway.
I'll take that as a compliment. Feeling the sweetness of the cream and the dryness of the sponge cake slide down my throat, I finally find myself unable to stop the drops from flowing out of my eyes. I'm really, really glad I came here. This sense of distance between us is simply incomparable. She doesn't force her way into my business, but she's watching over me, just as always. Our chatter is filled with her criticizing my faults, but it's also full of laughter as well, even if she did catch on to how I am right now. And even though it's not out of indifference, she would probably remain in her state of non-intervention. At the start, she'll just grin and bear it like me. At the start, she'll just grin and bear it like this.
But seriously, this really is awful. I'll just throw the rest of it in fridge for whoever might want to try it. I'm looking forward to the look on their faces when they come in tomorrow.
Sorry.
I can't wait until Monday. How about you, Kirahara?
Because I didn't want to be alone. I ran away to this sleepless building in search of more and more people to talk to. But in the end, I could only find a single person, so my wish of finding more and more people vanished. But this chance encounter made me as happy as someone who won the year-end lottery. Because right now, I'm really here with the person I want to be with the most.
What's wrong, Kitahara? Are you giving up too?
No. What was that just now? What did I mean by that? Am I just desperate to indulge in someone's company because of my current state of mind? Or am I... I'm serious. Let me give you a hand.
Don't worry about it. They're counting it as a holiday anyway, so you're not going to get paid. Just head home for today.
It'll get finished faster if I help out too, you know?
Even if I get it done early, I still wouldn't be able to leave before the first train anyway.
That applies to me too. Which is why I pretty much have nothing to do before the trains start running.
Oh.
Or maybe... Am I being a bother?
That's not it, but...
Then please, let me work. Otherwise, the only thing left for me to do is sit here and stare at you, Mari-san.
Am I imagining things? It kind of feels like I'm being hit on.
If that makes it feel awkward, then all the more reason for you to let me work.
You've really thrown all the formalities out the window when you're with me, haven't you?
It's already been 6 months after all. In reality, it has nothing to do with formalities and whatnot. I'm just desperate. I just can't bring myself to leave this atmosphere we created. I'm not even considering the trouble I'm causing her. 3 a.m. 2 hours until the first train of the day. At least for these few hours. Until I'm overtaken by exhaustion and no longer able to think anymore. Because I don't want those tear-inducing thoughts of reality to show themselves in my head again.
It's next Tuesday.
America?
I'll be going around a couple places such as New York and LA, and I'll be meeting up with a friend of mine in Guam on my way back as a vacation. I estimate I'll be back here on the 5th of January next year. My friend's not a guy, okay? You've met her before, right, Kitahara? Amamiya Sawako? It's just our annual 2-person trip without anything to do with guys. There's nothing else to spend money on, so we splurge a little at the end of every year like this. Even though being with Sawako is starting to get on my nerves a little.
Mari-san's soothing voice has indeed reached my ears, but my mind refuses to process those words. The reason behind her working even harder than usual, despite it being Christmas, as well as the weekend, it was something I quickly noticed when I looked over the paperwork she asked for. Because it was paperwork for an overseas trip.
I grabbed a bunch of jobs from the other departments, just like always. Thanks to that, I'll probably be spending New Year's on an airplane. And thanks to the time zones, I'm likely celebrating New Year's twice.
A whole week?
It's a little too short for collecting what I need, but I had a pretty tight limit on travel expenses, so yeah. What? You've been quiet for a while now? Does me not being here make you feel that lonely? Hey, don't just say silent. Stop looking so deep and mysterious. It's so unclear.
Sorry.
Kitahara, you know I've been trying to avoid the topic for a while now, but you really seem off today.
Again, I'm sorry, and thank you for watching out for me. Mari-san's been fighting to preserve that delicate distance between us, but my overly gloomy expression has finally made her unable to bear it anymore. But breaking the barrier like that didn't really give me any sort of discomfort.
Well, showing up all of a sudden in a place like this on Christmas Eve just screams something happened.
Because both of us are looking at our monitors, so we aren't speaking face to face. Mari-san's using one of her special skills, focusing on idle chatter while focusing on her work at the same time.
If you have something troubling you, just say it. Well, I understand if you don't want to, though.
I'm not really against saying it.
I see.
After hearing my honest response, Mari-san seems ever so slightly shaken up. She probably thought there was no way I'd show her this weak and defenseless side of me so easily.
So, what's wrong? Did today being Christmas remind you of one of your past girlfriends or something?
Something like that. But right now, there's no way I'm going to let go of this incredible opportunity. My only choice is to take advantage of Mari-san's kindness, because if I let it go, I won't be able to meet Mari-san again for a while. I don't want to spend New Year's while still holding on to these thoughts.
Really now? Is it about Toma Kazusa? Did you remember a Christmas date with her in the past, perhaps?
We went on a trip, an overnight one.
Eh?
But it wasn't just the two of us. We had a friend with us, and we went to the northern part of Kanto.
What the? Don't scare me like that. Or is what about to come even scarier?
Nothing happened, really. We took a dip in the open-air bath, had some drinks in our yukatas, and just partied.
That's, how should I put it? Not exactly the most Christmassy of Christmas parties, is it?
It was snowing back then, just like today. The snow we saw through the window and the sight of the snow falling upon us from the open-air bath were both beautiful sights.
I see.
I had an amazing time. I am a little upset at my own deceitful words, leaving out the important details, not telling her the true meaning behind that trip of ours, and actually wanting her to understand my feelings with just that. Hey, Mari-san.
What is it?
Even now, I'm still in love with Toma Kazusa. I see. But even so, I still wanted to let those words be heard. I still haven't forgotten her. Even though I'm lying to Mari-san, I still wanted her to understand me. Pain from love cannot be healed by love itself.
Please stop bringing that up already. It's because I'm reminded that I was the one who actually said that line that I'm getting embarrassed.
Sorry. I wanted someone to think of these feelings that Setsuna will never accept again as something inescapable without any other choice. And I didn't want it to be from just about anyone, but someone in particular. I'm just the worst. This is the absolute worst possible attitude I can take for everyone involved. Before I knew it, the sounds coming off our keyboards have ceased. Even so, we haven't shifted our gazes from our monitors, so we aren't looking at each other either.
You know, Kitahara,
It's fine.
what is?
You don't know what sort of advice to give me, right? You probably didn't expect me to talk about something like this.
Seriously, what do you take me for?
I didn't really say it because I wanted advice anyway. It's just that I wanted you to hear me out, Mari-san, no matter what.
Why? The report, communicate, and consult guideline is for the sake of getting further instructions from your supervisors, isn't it?
I wasn't trying to make a report to my supervisor. I just wanted you to hear me out, Mari-san.
There's no difference, is there? I am your supervisor, after all.
I like that part of you, Mari-san. The way she tries to act tough regarding a few weird things. The way she acts all supervisor-like, even though she's just trying to look out for me. The way she struggles with her private matters, despite being perfect when it comes to her work. The way she tries to hide her incredible charms as a woman, and ends up showing an adorable side of her because of it.
How many times do I have to say it? A younger subordinate who's still a student shouldn't be teasing his senior supervisor who's a full-fledged adult. I would have smacked you just now if you didn't look so down.
I'll be more careful in the future. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ari has an unhealthy obsession with Christmas cake. I don't mean the food. Christmas cake refers to the idea that no one wants Christmas cake after Christmas, the 25th. When used in relation to a woman, it means no man wants a woman after the age of 25. It's mostly used as a way to shame women who don't get married young and focus on their career, which is a terrible thing. People can find love all along their adult lives. It doesn't have to be when they're young. And there's nothing wrong with focusing on your career. So, get married when you're ready, not when society tells you to.